guys, welcome back to another edition of Civil Liberties News. As it would seem, all is not lost right now during this global pandemic. There is a bright side to having everybody stay locked up in their home, and that is crime rates are down worldwide right now. I read in this Time article, crime rates plummet around the world as the coronavirus keeps people inside. The coronavirus pandemic that has crippled big box retailers and mom and pop shops worldwide may be making a dent in illicit business too. In Chicago, one of America's most violent cities, drug arrests have plummeted 42% in the weeks since the city shut down, compared with the same period last year. Part of the decrease, some criminal lawyers say, is that drug dealers have no choice but to wait out the economic slump. So yeah, I mean, being sequestered in your home, although not ideal for the average person, not ideal for most people, to not be able to go to work and make money and provide for themselves, but it's also having an impact on crime, which is a good thing. And we'll read on here. Overall, Chicago's crime declined 10% after the pandemic struck, a trend playing out globally as cities report stunning crime drops in the weeks since measures were put in place to slow the spread of the virus. Even among regions that have the highest levels of violence outside a war zone, fewer people are being killed and fewer robberies are taking place. Yeah, for some of you guys that don't know, Chicago, the nickname is Chirac, and the reason being is that there are more people killed there by gun violence, mainly gang-related gun violence, than in Afghanistan, Iraq. Still, law enforcement officials worry about a surge of unreported domestic violence and what happens when restrictions lift or go on too long. That's a good question. What does happen when restrictions lift? And as far as the unreported domestic violence goes, I mean, I don't know how many unreported cases there are, and domestic violence, nobody should have to live like that, live in fear of their significant other putting their hands on them. I don't agree with domestic violence by any means, but I do think that this pandemic has stressed certain relationships that probably should have never been formed to begin with, right? So people who probably really didn't like each other to begin with, maybe were just staying together because it was convenient, and then you throw the stress of a freaking global pandemic on top of their already weak relationship, it's kind of a breeding ground for domestic violence. In my opinion, I don't agree with it. It's rare for a city to see double-digit drop in crime, even over a much longer period. During New York City's 1990s crime decline, one of the biggest turnarounds in American history, crime dropped about 40% over 3 years. That makes the drop-offs occurring now, in a period of just a couple of weeks, even more seismic. So they're saying that the crime rate that has dropped in New York over just a few weeks is blowing the 90s crime drop out of the water. So I think one of a few things is happening here due to this pandemic. I think that either people who would normally commit crime are either taking heed to the stay-at-home order, which is very doubtful. I mean, if you're a criminal, you're not going to listen to your governor saying, hey, don't go outside, you might get a ticket. I don't think that's the case. More than likely what's happening is that criminals are probably afraid to catch the virus. So they are, refraining from committing crime, especially in places like, I've read down here in South Africa, rapes were down from 700 to 101. Those are probably people who are afraid to catch the virus. While it's a great thing that crime is down, I don't think it's for noble reasons, like criminals are coming and saying, well, we are in a crisis right now, it probably wouldn't be a good idea to commit crime. No, I don't think that's what it is. I think you would be fooling yourself to think that. I think more than likely it's the fact that they're probably afraid, like everybody else, to catch the virus, so they're just backing off from committing their crimes. Now, if we stay in a global lockdown or even a national lockdown for an extended period of time, I think you're going to see this drop in crime suddenly shoot back up, because criminals are going to be criminals no matter what, and if you put their back against the wall with no way of earning an income and providing for their family or themselves, they are going to resort back to what they know. I think that's just common sense, honestly. I read in here too, in NYPD, out of the 36,000 officers, more than 7,000 of them are out right now ill, and more than 2,000 diagnosed with COVID-19. So that's 5,000 officers that potentially do have it but haven't been diagnosed or are sick with another illness at this time. So I wanted to see if I could find a graph that would show the crime rate and how it dropped online. And what I did come across was another article from USA Today that does show a graph of crime incidents going down. And you can see here that basically from right around the time, around March 8th, when they started talking about this new virus in our country, you can just see the crime just going down. You know, from there until, well, this goes to the 28th, and it's just continually on a downward trend. And more than likely, people are just afraid. Criminals are no different than normal human beings. They are normal human beings. They just commit crime, right? I'd be interested in knowing what your thoughts are on this subject, and if you have anything to add to this, please leave your comments down below, and let's get a discussion going. Get your opinion on why you think the crime is going down during the global pandemic. If you got anything from this video, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you'll be notified when I release new content. I am putting videos out on a daily basis, at least Monday through Friday on a daily basis. Until next time, guys, stay safe. I'll see you in the next video.